Here's the 2-minute. Let's look at what the 2-minute looked like. Now, David, I know you rode this 2-minute yesterday. So I want everybody to see right here. Do you see how those are all the same size?
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
not an entry until this candle, right? We don't enter candles that haven't changed in size from the previous because that's always a sign of weakness. See all these longs? That's a sign of weakness. You got to wait till one is bigger than the rest of them. See how this is all flat? You wouldn't enter. See it?
Okay.
Candle has to be bigger than the previous candle or you don't get in it. If they all look like this for 25 minutes, don't touch it if they're all the same, right?
Yeah, stay clear.
That's right, because there's no sign of strength. It's not giving you a definitive one way or the other. So right here is your buy. Somewhere in this candle area, this is your 2-minute. Rides down, you're golden. You've got a 25 to 40% stop loss. It takes off, right? You put in your stop, it takes off, it runs. You start to see different patterns here. It's changing. This all looks beautiful in this range. We don't see anything until right here. This is where it starts to roll back down the hill, right? So you've got rocket ship taking off, and then all this right here is rolling down the hill. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So if we
Coach,
yes.
well, the principle's the same with stocks.
Yes.
I'm just, doing it on that.
That
Only
is
just
correct.
reverse on what you're doing there.
That's correct.
The red and green.
Yeah, now except of course you'd be shorting the stock if you were going to the downside. But here's the thing with stock. There is no 25 to 40% rule with stock.
Correct.
Because if you bought it at $172, you're gonna wait 40% on a stock. So
No.
you have to come up with, a realistic using like, average true range plus some to give you an idea of how much range you're going to allow this to move. Now, the good thing with doing it with shares, if you entered on the 2-minute, which is somewhere in this range, you already know if it pulled back up to, above VWAP to get out. So the good thing is with shares, you already know, right, typically what the level should be before you're like, hey, this is no good for me, right?
Yes.
But with contracts, you can't really do that because a contract is harder to tell here to here because every time it makes a big move, right, the premiums change so drastically, it's hard to give an exact area. That's why that 25 to 40% rule lives. It's just harder to adjust it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So same drill here. So, you guys would have had a nice ride. You would have had a signal right here to start paying attention to it if you didn't get out when you saw that the change was here. Of course, once you start seeing all this garbage, you would have known for sure to get out of there. So right here, I mean, these are small moves, but you could have did them. Here was your first one. Well, this one was the first one. You'd have rode it till somewhere, right? Till you were comfortable and you'd have got out. It made this movie. See how they're both exactly the same and never changed? That's a no bueno, right? You see them? They're exact same size. That's a don't trade. Now this one you could have wound up in. Let's just say you got in here. It went against you. That one you lost money, right? Just because you'd had a 25 to 40% rule. Then the next one. But here's the thing on this. This is critical to know. You wouldn't have waited 40%. Can anybody tell me why on this one?
Because of the EWO flip.
That's right. That's exactly right. Because you had a color change that already told you to get out. So even if you got in here, as soon as you saw this color change, right, and it just started and it wasn't super far down, right? You weren't making a ton of money. As soon as it flips, you're out, right? Because that is the beginning of you entering. So if the beginning of you entering was somewhere in here, and this changes colors, by the way, which is right here, that's a get out, right? If you're in a put and it changes color, this is get out. So this is worst case scenario. See it?
Yep.
So no big deal, no harm, no foul, as long as you know that rule, because if you didn't, oh, coach, but I got in here and I let it go 40%. Well, what? When it's showing you that it flipped color and you should be over here, you should be in the next move, which is this to the upside, right? So again, this is the play. This is not, it never changed. This is the move, but barely. I mean, barely, but that's okay. You'd have got in here. We'd have said we'd have cut you off in here. You would have got out because the color changed. So we'll say loss. So we'll say giant winner, baby loser, entry here somewhere. And now you got another winner. See it?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
as soon as it breaks VWAP, again, we already know don't be in it, right? We're in a call and it breaks VWAP to the downside, which is this big long candle, get out.
That shallow stuff there, is that just low buyers and sellers?
It is. Yep. It's just they can't make a decision. So it's staying even, right?
Hmm.
So here's the issue with this range. Can anybody tell me what's wrong with this picture?
VWAP.
Yep.
That's in VWAP.
That's too much chop right at VWAP.
Should you be trading around VWAP?
Nope.
Negative.
Nope. And this is why it looks like this, right? This is why it can't make a decision because it's around VWAP. So again, as I'm looking at these trades, I wait until a nice clear change, right? This is a nice clear change, right? Now, again, though, if it's in the chop and you don't like it, don't enter this trade, right? It hasn't really made anything look good. And if you look at all this down here, none of this looks good. You see how they're very small? They don't have this nice big giant bubble. See it?
Yeah.
This is all trash. So this is when I tell you guys, hey, stop looking at that. Let's see what else is going on, right? So let's take a